Hello, my name is Brother Sean. My nickname is Father Ted to my friends, but when I'm irritable and miserable and in pain, I'm known as Father Jack. You could say I'm a member of the Frumpy Brigade. Who are the Frumpy Brigade? The FB. These are brothers and sisters that we meet every day on the tube, on the bus, on the train, on the high street. I met a group of them this morning on Good Friday. They looked so miserable it was untrue. The majority of them looked so weather-beaten and sad and oppressed. I almost said to them, "Why did Jesus die on the cross for you?" I didn't. I should have done. Normally I'm quite outspoken. Normally I speak my truth from a place of love. And many take umbrage. Some come back and say thank you. Life is so short, don't you think? And if life is so short, why do so many spend it chasing dreams, searching for what they know they can't have, unless they get off their backside and do some work? I remember many years ago when I was in between jobs, I was unemployed for a short while, and that was the most frumpy experience I ever had. I found it quite degrading and humbling. Coming from a senior post in nursing, that was because I changed counties. I'd given my job up to go and set up a small nursing home for elderly people to be detoxed from psychedelic drugs and allow them live in a small family with me, very much built on the Teze style community. But you know, standing in the queue waiting to sign on, you could hear the chit-chat, and it was all very negative, it was very oppressive. And if you were feeling vulnerable yourself, you were just a sitting duck for attack. I didn't have the protection then that I have now. In fact, I didn't have the words of wisdom then that I have now. But I know that there are many people stuck in that trap. And however hard they try, the genuine ones, there just seems to be no way out for them. And then there are those who make a career of being frumpy. "Oh, it's all right for you, you don't know you're born." That's a well-known saying over here in the UK. "Oh, you don't know you're born, you. Hello." But we don't have to stay in the gutter, do we? We're each given the tools to rise up and be counted, to be peace bearers, to be kingdom builders. God did not create us to stay in a gutter, frumpy, miserable, depressed. He gave his son, Jesus, who voluntarily went to a cross as a love offering. Now you're probably going to shoot me down and switch off the YouTube, fine, because you're anti-God. Well, take it from me, I'm not ashamed or embarrassed to use the word God, because God does not inflict on his children the barbaric practices that we are guilty of, the inhumanity that we experience on our TV sets, of the recent killings in the school in California where a former pupil went berserk, where corrupt governments take handouts, and instead of giving the money that people collect for charitable purposes to feed their starving children and fight infection, they use it for ammunition. But people will blame God. "Oh, he's God. If he's God, why doesn't he sort it out?" He does sort it out. He touches your heart and mind to give generously, in the hope that our act of kindness will go and prevent disease and prevent famine. And even in religion, even in our churches, we have corruption. Money talks. Money talks. They say it doesn't. It does talk. I've seen it as a monk. I've seen the spell that money has on superiors who are struggling to feed their community. We had such a superior, a lovely, lovely man. Very hoi polloi, came from good stock. He never mixed with the postman or the milkman or the breadman. He only mixed with the hooray Henrys. And by Jove, those hooray Henrys fed that novitiate through his blarney. But he would not associate with the lowly. It was against his rules. So you had the two paradoxes. And the superior who followed him was the most humble of men, the most saintly of men. He had no time for the Ray Henrys. He had time for the little people, the ordinary people. I connected with Brother Ambrose. Apart from the smell of his pipe in the refectory, it used to choke me. But there was something very endearing about his laugh and his chuckles, whereas the other, he would look down on you unless you came from good stock. Fortunately for me, my father's side of the family were good stock. Big Protestants in Ireland, a great-grandfather who was an Archbishop of Ireland. But my grandmother was disinherited from the estate and everything because she married out and converted to Catholicism. So I am aware from first-hand experience of what money can do. It can corrupt. It can alleviate poverty and disease. But if given to the wrong hands, to the wrong people, it can destroy them. Sure, you only have to read about the millionaires who win the lottery. 9 out of 10, after 2 or 3 years of spending and indulging, and all the fair weather friends they've attracted, when the money dries up, their friends dry up. Or they may still have money in the bank, but they realise, and they've shared this on television, I wished it was like the old days where I didn't have all this. I was a lot happier then. I'm not happy now. So money doesn't make you happy. You have to have the right mindset. So what is being frumpy all about? Frumpy is someone who is miserable because of their own choice. We all have free will. We all have the gift of free will. We can either call on God to guide us, to advise us, or we can stay where we are, frumpy. But people today choose not to. They choose to apportion blame on God. It's his fault that we're in this mess. It's not God's fault. It's our fault. And those who represent God, whether they're Muslims, imams, rabbis, Judaism, priests, vicars in Christianity, holy men and women in the various other traditions, if they're grounded and centered in God, then they will not abuse their position, but there are many who do. And they enslave and enshackle God's children. And that's why Francis of Assisi came about in the 12th century, because in Italy, many had fallen away from the church because it was corrupt. Many of the cardinals and priests were living a debauched life with mistresses. Their scandals scandalized the ordinary people, so they kept away from church. They kept away from God, but God heard their cry. And he brought 2 good people from Assisi, just Assisi alone. He brought many others from many other parts of the world. But he brought Francis and Clare from Assisi. They were like childhood sweethearts, brother and sister even, who went on to found wonderful Franciscans and Poor Clares. And they left us a legacy about love, to turn from being frumpy to being happy and jolly, to being fulfilled. You know, you can have everything but have nothing, and you can have nothing and be absolutely ecstatic. It's a contradiction, isn't it? But it's not meant to be. If you're feeling frumpy today, You have two choices, and they're as simple as the nose on my face. One, you can do something about to change it. You can get off your butt and use your gift of free will. You can ask for help. You can ask God for help. Oh, but if you're anti-God, you don't go there. So you need to get professional help. Great. Two, you can just stay as you are, shut up and get on with it. Now that sounds cruel, but having nursed for 38 years, I was a rescuer and I carried all the lame ducks going. Now my medicine's very simple. Physician, heal thyself. So you don't have to be frumpy or grumpy. You can be happy and at peace. Thank you.